Every day of your life, you are fighting in an arena. You fight for respect in your career. You fight for your own peace of mind against the onslaught of a chaotic world. And you fight your most brutal battles in the arena of love and relationships. You feel the dust and the blood. You feel the eyes of the crowd on you. You feel the pressure to perform, to win. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself a fundamental question? Are you fighting as a free man, or are you fighting as a slave? This is not just a metaphor. It is a psychological reality. Every man lives and fights in one of three great arenas, defined by his relationship with his own power. The vast majority of men are in the first arena. They are the slave. They fight because they are forced to, their fate decided by the roar of the crowd and the whim of an emperor they cannot control. A smaller group, through blood and sweat, earns their freedom and ascends to the second arena. They become the gladiator. They fight not for survival, but for glory, wealth, and the adoration of the masses. They are champions, masters of combat, skilled and powerful. And then there's a final, elusive arena, a state of being few men ever reach. This is the arena of the Freeman. This is the man who has transcended the fight itself. He no longer fights for crowd. He has become so powerful and so free that he no longer needs the arena at all. Today, you will learn the rules of these arenas. This is your guide to understanding the nature of your own fight. We will diagnose the chains of the slave, and we will give you the key to the armory and the philosophy of the training grounds. The Lanista's teachings that will allow you to begin the great uprising, the ascension from a slave who fights for his life to a gladiator who fights for his legend. Let's begin in the sun-scorched dirt of the first arena. Let's look at the reality of the slave. The slave's defining characteristic is that he does not own his own will. He is the property of his circumstances. In his relationships, the emperor who holds his fate is the approval of his partner. Her smile is a thumbs up that allows him to live another day emotionally. Her frown is a thumbs down that sends him into a spiral of despair. He fights desperately, not with skill, but with a frantic energy born of neediness. He will people please. He will perform. He will abandon his own principles. Anything to win the temporary favor of the emperor and the crowd. The crowd is public opinion, the endless roar of what he should be. He is terrified of their judgment. He lives in a state of constant, low-grade fear. His fights are not strategic. They are reactive. An unexpected comment is a surprise attack that sends him into a defensive panic. A moment of distance from his partner is a net thrown over him, and he thrashes against it with anxious text messages. The great Stoic insight is this: the slave's prison is not the arena itself, but his belief that his freedom is something that must be granted to him by an external power. He hopes that if he just fights well enough, if he pleases the emperor enough, he will one day be gifted his freedom. He does not realize that true freedom is never granted. It must be seized. If you have ever felt like you were fighting a battle you didn't choose, just to survive another day emotionally, if your sense of peace and worth depends on thumbs up or thumbs down from someone else, then you know what it feels like to be a slave in the arena. But the first step to freedom is a raw, burning realization that you are the one holding the key to your own chains. If you are ready to shatter those chains and begin the training that turns a slave into a champion, then make your commitment to this uprising. Subscribe to this channel right now. This is not a spectator sport. This is a training ground. Join us. The journey from slave to gladiator is the most crucial transformation in a man's life. It is an act of rebellion against your own weakness. This rebellion is planned in the darkness of the training grounds, the ludus, where the slave spirit is reforged into that of a warrior. This training has 3 core lessons. The first lesson from the Lanista, the master trainer, is choose your weapons. The slave fights with whatever crude, ineffective weapons he is given. He fights with anger, with jealousy, with supplication. The gladiator begins his training by making a conscious choice about his arsenal. This is the Stoic dichotomy of control. He makes the radical decision to drop the useless, heavy weapons to try and control the crowd, the emperor, or the outcome of the fight. They are not his to wield. Instead, he picks up the only weapons over which he has perfect mastery: the short sword of his own actions and the shield of his own mind. He stops focusing on, will she approve? And starts focusing on, will I act with courage? He stops worrying about, Will I win this argument? And starts focusing on, will I speak with integrity? By choosing to fight only with the weapons of his own character, he takes the first great step toward becoming unbeatable. He may still lose a given fight, but he will never again lose himself. The second lesson is the discipline of the ludus. Freedom is not a single event. It is a daily practice. The gladiator's fearsome skill was not born in the arena, but in the thousands of hours of monotonous, grueling, and repetitive training in the ludus. This is the Stoic practice of daily discipline. Your mission is your ludus. Every day that you choose to work on your purpose instead of succumbing to distraction, you are training. Every time you force your body to the gym when it wants to rest, you are training. Every book you read to sharpen your mind is training. This is the unglamorous work that forges the body of a warrior and the mind of a strategist. While the other slaves are sleeping or complaining, the future gladiator is in the dark, training, forging himself into a weapon. The third and final lesson is to study your opponent. A slave only sees the beast in front of him. A gladiator studies the nature of all beasts. This is the art of discernment. This is where the Stoic must borrow from the pragmatism of Machiavelli. You must study human nature as it is, not as you wish it to be. You must understand the tactics of manipulators, the motivations of the power-hungry, the patterns of the narcissistic. You study them not to become them, but to become immune to their strategies. You learn to recognize a feint, to anticipate an attack, to see the weakness in an opponent's over-aggressive style. By understanding the darkness in others, as the psychologist Jung would advise, you also come to understand the potential for that same darkness within yourself, and you learn to master it. You become a student of power, and this knowledge makes you a formidable strategist in the arena. When a man masters these three lessons, when he chooses the right weapons, when he endures the discipline of the ludus, and when he becomes a student of his opponents, he is no longer a slave. He walks out of the darkness of the training grounds and into the roar of the Colosseum, and he is a different man. He is now the gladiator. He is a champion. He is skilled. He is powerful. He is confident. He no longer fights out of fear and for survival. He fights for glory, for honor, and for the roar of the crowd. He is a master of combat. He can set and defend his boundaries. He can conquer his goals. He is respected. He is feared. He has won his freedom. But the gladiator, for all his power and all his glory, is still a performer. His identity is defined by the arena. His spirit is fed by the roar of the crowd. He has won his freedom from his old master, but he has not yet become his own master. The final ascension is not about winning another fight. It is about becoming so powerful that you no longer need the arena at all. It is the journey from gladiator to freeman. We left our hero standing victorious in the center of the arena. He has ascended from the fear and powerlessness of the slave to the glory and strength of the gladiator. He is a champion, a master combat, a man who has won his freedom and the adoration of the masses through sheer discipline and will. By all external measures, he is the pinnacle of masculine success. But the wise man knows that the greatest dangers often lie hidden within the greatest victories. The arena that made him strong now becomes his new, more seductive prison. The gladiator, for all his power, is still a performer. His identity is defined by the contest. His spirit is fed by the roar of the crowd. He has won his freedom from his old master, but he has not yet become his own master. The final ascension is not about winning another fight. It is about becoming so powerful, so free, that you no longer need the arena at all. It is a journey from gladiator to freeman. To make this final leap, a man must first recognize the golden chains of the arena. The gladiator faces three great burdens that keep him from true peace. The first is his addiction to applause. The gladiator's self-worth, while stronger than the slave's, is still fundamentally external. It is derived from winning. It is measured by the roar of the crowd. He becomes addicted to the thrill of victory, constantly seeking new contests to prove his dominance and feel his own value. This makes his inner peace fragile, dependent on a steady supply of external validation. The second burden is the warrior's exhaustion. The gladiator's life is one of constant conflict and competition. He is always preparing for the next battle. There is no true rest in this state, only the brief respite between contests. He has mastered the art of the fight, but he has forgotten the art of peace. As the philosopher Nietzsche might warn, in fighting his monsters, he'd become a creature of the fight himself. The third burden is the isolation of the champion. The gladiator is admired, but often from a distance. His identity as a relentless fighter can make true intimacy and vulnerability feel like weaknesses. He is a warrior, but is he a partner? A father? A wise counselor? He has comrades in arms, but perhaps no one who knows a man beneath the armor. To ascend beyond this glorious but limited stage, a man must undertake the final and most difficult training of his life. It is not about learning to fight better. It is about learning to transcend the need to fight at all. This is the path to becoming a freeman. The first step is a conscious and profound act, the retirement from the crowd. This is a declaration of internal independence. The gladiator must make the deliberate choice to stop fighting for the approval of others. He must trade the fleeting, addictive roar of the crowd for quiet, steady hum of his own inner tribunal's approval. This requires a deep and unwavering commitment to Stoic virtue as the only true measure of success. He must learn that a virtuous action performed in private is worth more than a glorious victory performed for 1,000 cheering fans. The second step is to evolve from a warrior into a statesman. He must learn the statesman strategy, which prioritizes wisdom over raw strength. The gladiator solves his problems with his sword. The freeman learns to solve most problems with his mind before the sword is ever needed. He masters the art strategy of diplomacy, of de-escalation. He embodies the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, who wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." He does not meet aggression with more aggression. He meets it with a calm, unshakable frame that often dissolves the conflict before it can begin. He understands that the greatest victory is the one that is won without a fight. The third and final step is the most profound. The gladiator is the star performer in the arena. The freeman, through his wisdom and detachment, comes to metaphorically own the arena. He is no longer a participant in the games. He is the benevolent provider of order and stability for the entire system. He embraces a more fatty, accepting the fights, the crowds, and the outcomes as part of the grand spectacle of life, but he is no longer defined by them. His purpose shifts from winning glory for himself to serving his own small empire, his family, his community, his principles. As a man of great power, he recognizes, as Jung would suggest, his responsibility to be a generative force for good in the world. He has transcended the game entirely. When a man has made this final ascension, he becomes a freeman. What does his life look like? He possesses a deep, unshakable calm. His power is no longer in his actions, but in his very presence. He does not carry the tense energy of the gladiator. He is relaxed, centered, and fully engaged with the world, but not disturbed by it. In his relationships, he is no longer a fighter seeking victory or a slave seeking approval. He is a statesman building an alliance. He creates a profound sense of psychological safety for his partner, because his peace is not contingent on the outcome of any single battle. When a conflict arises, he does not draw his sword. He invites her to the negotiating table of reason and mutual respect. He is the ultimate Stoic thermostat, setting the tone of peace. His freedom is absolute because it is entirely internal. He has won the final and only victory that matters, the victory over himself. The three arenas represent the great journey of a man's life. We all begin as a slave, fighting the battles we are forced to fight. Through great effort, we can become the gladiator, winning the glorious contest we choose to enter. And through even greater wisdom, we can achieve the profound peace of the freeman, the man who has earned the freedom to not have to fight at all. This is the ultimate destination. It is a journey from a life of reaction to a life of action, and finally, to a life of profound and powerful being. What arena are you fighting in today? Be honest with yourself. Acknowledging your current position is the first step on the path to the next. Let us know in the comments below which stage of this journey you are on. Your declaration is a powerful act of self-awareness. If you are ready to continue this journey, to earn your freedom and to master the art of a life well lived, then subscribe to the channel and join our community. This is a training ground for men who are choosing to become the masters of their own fate.